Hello, my loves. Welcome back to Chemistry with Kismet Tarot. I'm Monica. Today we are diving into a collective ancestral message for Scorpio season. Now, I know that we are a bit of a ways into Scorpio season already. I had intended to film this reading a while back, but that's kind of the way that energy and nature and life just goes, we get pushed back and delayed, and we have to just kind of roll with it and go with what we're doing. So Scorpio season kicked off October 22nd, 2024 at 5:15 p.m. Central Daylight Time. And it kicked off with a numerological energy of a 13-4 division. Scorpionic energy, Aries energy, death energy, emperor energy, divine masculine transformational energy here. It is the same numerology as Samhain, and on Samhain is actually when I sat down to start channeling these messages. Now, because I'm coming back and it's November 3rd, I literally woke up and I looked at my watch, and then I looked at my clocks and I realized when I came back, daylight savings time had begun or had ended. I think it's ended with the fallback in the States. I know not everybody practices this setting the clocks back. Excuse me. So whereas my body says it's 5:30 in the morning, my clocks say it's 4:30 in the morning, which means my family gets to sleep in for an extra hour. So I'm here with you guys. Anyway, I was using the sunrise chart for the houses that puts, it's like an equal house sign, 0 degrees Scorpio for the first house. Because I wanted to look at how the sun is interacting, what we are learning in this sun energy. Now, the sun is the force of life and giving in the universe. It is our singular star with a gravitational field that holds us all in place, that gives us all our duty, our purpose, our path, and it flows for us. It loves us and teaches us to love ourselves. And we can skew this energy. We skew this sun energy and we think that it's the ego. It's never the ego. It is the light that we carry within us that comes forth as a certain persona. The ego is the fear of being different, being unique. So the first energy that I got from this is about transition into stability. Stability that opposes a stubbornness, because we have Scorpio and Taurus energy now. And when we move into one season, just because the sun is moving through one astrological sign, it doesn't mean that its sister sign is not being accounted for. That's actually how it works. We are going through two signs at once at all times because we sit in the middle. In astrology, we sit in the middle. We sit in the place of the sun in the stars. So when we're looking at astrology, we think of ourselves as the sun and the sun as us. In this way, we are sitting in the very dead center of a tug of war between Scorpio and Taurus. And the funny thing is when I first channeled this stability opposing stubbornness, Scorpio was a stability and Taurus was a stubbornness. And yet it can go either way, depending on how we interact with it. So when we're taking the initiative, we need to find the change through consistency. Stubbornness is also a very beneficial thing when we need to be consistent, when we need to be dedicated, when we need to be devoted, when we commit ourselves to something and we say, this is what it is, this is what it will be. No matter how it plays out, no matter how it unfolds, I know without a doubt, this is my path. This is my purpose. This is what I'm here to do, or this is what I need to do for myself in this moment. This is what I choose to do for myself in this moment. When we need that, stubbornness can be a very good thing, as can stability. Stability comes from understanding that we can ground in, dig in to what is right, what is true, what is purposeful in our lives, in ourselves, and in our journey. The focal energies here are very strongly Scorpio in the first house with the Sun and Mercury, and Aries in the sixth house with the North Node and Chiron, both of them retrograde. The outlier or the unknown energy that we're dealing with is a disseminating moon in Cancer, the moon that rules Cancer. Sitting at a critical degree, that 13th degree, out of bounds. So doing its own thing. The moon is off doing its own thing. This is the piece of us that has been broken off, that has been separated, that we think is gone, but it's still right there in our orbit. It's still always there. And it's there to remind us that we have a light in the darkness. It is the lantern that the hermit holds going through the hermit journey. It is that light in the dark night of the soul that we forget we have, or that we lose sight of, for us to rediscover. That is the moon. It is a piece of us, a piece of our soul that is always there. It helps us understand our emotions. It helps us understand our soul. It helps us understand ourselves. And it does it in terms of wherever it's at in our chart. And in this case, the moon is in Cancer, and the moon rules Cancer, which makes it doubly powerful. At the critical degree, it amplifies that energy even more. And when it is out of bounds, it says, I don't care what the rules of this world and astrology and science and this notion of objectivity say. I don't care, because we're doing this different this time. We are doing things differently this time. This is in the 9th house as well, which means this is about our beliefs in ourselves, our beliefs in divine motherhood, our beliefs in loyalty, in purpose, in the underworld, in the water world, in the battle for what is right, in immortality, in the heart, in the soul, in the ways in which we birth things into being, and in the ways in which we can be in this world. This is about our understanding, our knowledge turned into wisdom, and how we can adapt and apply it and understand it and introspect and share it with others. This is a break free kind of energy. It's very powerful, you guys. And I thought about putting the chart up, but I ended up getting a message instead on November 1st in the middle of the night. I'm just going to read through the message. I may or may not just kind of go based, like skim it, and then we'll go from there, because this reading has already changed from when it started. And I want to honor the way the energy has shifted for me to be able to be here to read and channel messages for you. So I'm going to go over what we're going to do. We're going to do the collective message. We're going to do a collective reading here. We're going to address the shadow and what the shadow wants to talk about throughout Scorpio season. This is the core of the shadow healing that we collectively are looking at doing. And with that, it's going to apply to each one of our situations, each one of our lives, each one of our energies in a different way. I originally was going to do this as an all signs reading. But if you've been following my channel for a while, you know I am dealing with some major health issues. That is why I was slowed down in coming back here. I'm at a good place right now in this moment to film and get this message out for you guys this week, which is awesome. I'm super excited because I love when I get to sit here and channel for you guys. It makes me feel so great to know that we can connect in this way. So thank you for that. But with that, I am getting more and more limited. Next week, I have a lot of things going on, a lot of appointments, a lot of different medical things. And so I have to readdress my focus. So instead of spending hours here today doing an all signs reading, we are going to do an elemental reading. We have earth, air, fire, and water. That is the order of the cards. Each one has just one card to address those elemental energies. You can look at it in the sense of the element that is dominant in your chart, the element that is the weakest in your chart. You can watch all the elements in order to get a full chart picture. You can look at it for the houses. It's entirely up to you. Make this your creative endeavor in how you want to work with these messages. And in fact, if you don't even want to look at it as elemental, you can look at it as these are just 4 piles and it's a pick a card for you for how this is going to impact. Do with this what you are called to. I'm the messenger. I set the intentions, but you're the creator of your existence, and that I give honor to. Now, we're going to move into the collective message. So, over the summer of 2024, I had an experience that it was incredibly unexpected. So, I felt called to a specific crystal in a specificity way of being found and sold in the world, clear quartz points. It was very specific. I needed clear quartz points. Literally, this whole thing is filled with them. One of the most well-known, anciently enduring, dynamically found, and widely marketed stones. It's been mostly dormant upon my journey until this summer. Like striking lightning, suddenly I was intuitively unable to focus upon much else for hours on end. When thinking of clear quartz points and towers, my mind is automatically on the literal clarity, the perfected form, and the seemingly mundane commonality of this abundant stone. I had no draw to those pieces. So where my intuition pulled me instead was to the wholesale bulk, the low quality or low grade quality pieces. Within a month, I had 3 separate shipments of £1 or more each of these points, very ethically sourced, don't worry. A commitment, connection, relationship, and complete self-fascination with this incredible crystal was birthed within me and continues to develop today. I'm sharing this because of the particularity of the specific way in which these crystals call to me, the wholesale low-grade crystals. They represent energetically and symbolically, and as a physically tangible object, the wisdom of Scorpio season in the collective this year. The deep healing of our internalized quality grade from the labels, projections, and identifications from others. You see, I was drawn to what people considered the castaways, the pieces too small, too clouded, too seemingly imperfect. These are the scapegoat and the black sheep symbolic crystals. Yet I found them to be the most inclusive, literally and metaphorically. They're the most dynamic, the ones containing so much wisdom, memories, knowledge, stories, love, and guidance over ages, and even from the powerful forces of Mother Nature and the cosmic waves. There's impact crystals who get hit by lightning, who get hit by meteors in these groups, in these castaways, but because they're not clear enough, they aren't going to fetch enough money, so they get thrown in this bulk bin and sold in these bulk sets. And every time I open them, it's this wonder and this mystery and this awe. And I get caught in the translucencies, and I get caught in the ways in which the light hits it, in the clouded nature of the divine feminine stones, and in the infused rainbow angelic stones. All of them are so unique and so fascinating, and they all have these different stories to them. It's amazing. But these are the crystals that won't fetch a high monetary value on their own. And yet I found that their worth increases as they are included in ever-growing community sizes with that bulk weight. So the more that they're included with others, the more value they have. the greater the connection, the greater the worth. We can seek the statement pieces. I mean, they are beautiful after all, not to mention powerful and easily programmable and intentional magic workings. But who would then want any other form? I mean, if you can do it so easily and it works so well, why would we even look at these castaways? That's for the people who can't afford it or the people who don't know, that way of thinking, that superiority thing. The ancestral wounding within humanity of abandonment, self-sacrifice, self-defeat, martyrdom and victimization, and the labeling of worth based upon the uses held for another. These are the wounds of lack and loss and conditions or symptoms of a deeper condition that has been pervasive for centuries, for millennia. The condition of divine forgetting. All these community clear quartz crystals, the layman crystals, the ordinary, the ones so unique, their beauty and uniqueness and simple truth, that each one is incredibly rare on its own, as it is nothing like any other. They are what humanity has forgotten within themselves. Our ancient ancestors lived lives built upon the proverbial sandcastles on the edge of the ocean tide during the low tide season. And when high tide came in, the destruction and changes took stability, leaving loss and fear, and thus one turned against another to rule, to take power, and to control as many circumstances as possible, so high tide would not wash away life any longer. This Scorpio season, our ancestors are walking beside us, behind us, in front, around, within our very hearts, to aid in our release through the heart and the soul's sovereign unity within our lives. We all are a part of the whole and contain uniform physical pieces to show how connected we always are, but also to recognize our rarity and unique nature, whose presence in the ancestral community cannot be replaced. Thus, we are each crucial to the whole. As I sit here for the second consecutive evening, receiving downloads and messages, I can feel the way these messages have been waiting for me, for you, and for each one of us in our many communities, families, connections, and selves. It's a tempered joy, one of acknowledgement as to the roles they played, which resulted in the traumas and curses and toxic patterns within this life we carry and commit to healing. This Scorpio season is about the blood, the veins, the head, the heart, and the many we contain. It is about the healing work and service work, the reflection of our life's value seen in our willingness to transform ourselves through embodying our rarity on a visceral, physical, and spiritually fiery way. I was going to dive into the astrological energies of the sunrise chart for October 22nd, which, again, I reiterate, I encourage all of you to check out if you feel called to. But as I was going to do that, the crystals began calling, singing, teaching me. It's a season of change, and this can feel confusing, isolating, and scary. That's okay. You're not alone. You are a rarity, a unique form and soul and person who is crucial to this world, needed, wanted, waited for, chosen, and deeply loved. You deserve to be free, and it comes as swift as high tide when you choose to let their burdens be carried by them and prove that their accountability gives you the freedom of clarity and your rarity shines forth. Now, I'm going to move on to the opening intentions. We're going to open the energy of gratitude. And instead of doing an all signs reading, we're going to do the collective message here. And then we're just going to get into the 4 piles. So if you would all take a moment with me, close your eyes, place your hands on your heart. I'm going to grab a drink of water quick. Okay. Spirit and guides, cosmic wisdom, professors in the sky, our ancestors, all those in spirit here to help us, to uplift us, to take accountability and walk beside us as we navigate through this deep healing season. May this reading and our coming together in community and honor, respect and integrity with our ancestors in form and formless, flowing through love unconditional, provide each with that which they seek. Clarity, freedom, a good cry, a desire of the inner child fulfilled, inner peace, autonomy and authority, and all else which is meant for each one of us. With intentional minds, receptive hearts, and pure motives, may we all together embrace the messages for us and hold space for those intended for others. Thank you. All right, guys, let's get into the collective message, and then we're going to go ahead and get into the other 4 sign cards, and I'll put the timestamps in the description box below for those 4 piles. So first, we're going to go to what I channeled this morning. So I sat down at 4:20 a.m. on November 3rd, daylight savings time, after I had changed all my clocks, restarted my coffee pot. I woke up with this horrible heartburn. It's been happening more and more. As I lay on my back, it gets worse. So I have to readjust. I have a hard time sleeping. I don't know why I'm explaining my medical stuff again. But that is, I don't know. Anyway. And as I sat here, I was like, okay, all signs. Do I do like a card per sign? We're like, how can we navigate this, spirit, so that we're not, I'm getting the messages out as you have called me to do, but so that I am able to navigate my way through my physicality. Because as you guys can, I'm sure, hear, I may sound nervous or shaky or emotional. What is actually going on is I am short of breath. I do have muscle tension and shaking. I have bone pain, and my heart rate is very erratic. And so it really does impact me a lot on a physical level. My internal physical world is in a state right now. My external looks a lot better, feels a lot better, but my internal is in a kind of uproar. And so I want to make sure that I'm honoring both. So Spirit had me change to the elemental reading, and then said, let's look at the shadow. Let's look at the shadow healing we're doing. Let's talk about it. And as I sat down, it was 4:20, and I just wrote really quickly, and the time had changed. 2 minutes passed by so fast, it felt like. And I got this message: time may feel like it's rapidly changing in unexpected ways. You may feel like you got the gift of more time, but that more time can feel like it's passing faster than it had it not come in the first place. And that can make us kind of bitter, resentful. Why would you give me more time and then have it go by faster? What's the point of that? Does that not seem counterintuitive? Because if I'm getting more time, shouldn't that more time last as long as the time that I would have had anyway? But I read The Big Leap by Gay Hendricks. And here's the thing. We create time. It flows from us. Divine timing is its own thing, but in our world, in our lives, we create time just like we create everything else. So we create timing in our lives. It is only how we perceive it to move that the time actually moves. So if we perceive time to move really quickly, it's gonna move really quickly. So I could have looked at the clock and been like, oh, 4:22, holy cow, I was writing here for quite a while. Or I could look at it like time is going by really fast. Holy crap. That's very unusual. I didn't think I was here that long. It depends on our perception. What we perceive is what we build our perspective on. And that perspective is what shapes our reality. That is our creativity. Collective energy, collective shadow that we're working with is the Sun card. And I love this. We're working with the Dark Wood Tarot. It's my favorite shadow deck. It is my absolute favorite shadow deck. I encourage anybody who loves shadow work to get this deck. It is profound. It is intense. It is impactful. It applies spiritually. It applies physically. It's amazing. Not affiliated. Not even going to put a link in the description box. I'm just going to tell you guys. This deck is incredible. Now, this reminds me of a reading that I did about a year ago about Lady Godiva and London Bridge. And I was called back to it, but I fell asleep before I could actually watch it. But it is in it's in my videos from either 2023 or 2022. It's one of the further back ones. It's a collective message, Lady Godiva and London Tower. If you guys are drawn to either one of those, I know Lady Godiva is one of my ancestors, so she comes through quite often. But the story of Lady Godiva is that she was protesting something or other, stripped down, rode her horse through the streets. The inner and outer workings of it, that doesn't really matter. We're working with the Sun card. The Sun card is normally represented. You normally see a young child with a banner smiling in the sun and riding through. But here we have a woman who knows she has a mission and a purpose and a path. And this isn't gender specific. This is about energetics. This is about us recognizing that if we want to embrace the joy and the beauty of that inner child freedom out in the sun, riding the horses and having a fun time, having this playful time, we have to address the shadows of our adulthood. We have to address the shadows of our growth, the shadows of maturing and recognizing the things that we have to hold on to and the things that we are meant to let go of, the things that we are here to take a stand on, the things that strip us down and have us say, this is what is right for me. It may not be right for you, but this is what is right for me. And we have to look at those things, because when we relegate the things that we need to heal to our shadows, and we don't tap in, we don't acknowledge, that shadow morphs. It morphs into something else. And it's not inherently bad or evil. Those are labels that we place on things. It is so lost because who's listening? Who's paying attention? If we are not listening and paying attention to ourselves and our shadows, who is? And so the shadow comes out and does shadow things. And we see these things and we think, this is an evil. This is, yeah, it feels that way. It feels that way. But we're designing it that way. And this can be an unpopular message. I get that. That's fine. Everybody has their own take. Everybody has their own wisdom. Everybody has their own experience. This is the message that I'm called to. And if it is uncomfortable for you, if it makes you feel as though I am negating things or saying things don't exist that you believe in, number one, that's not my intention. My intention is simply to be a pure channel for spirit and say what spirit has asked me to say. Number two, what you're feeling, I promise you, is not about me judging. You are free to believe because I believe in your experiences and I validate that. I'm sharing a perspective that might help. If it doesn't, remember, we set the intention to hold space for those the messages are for, even when they're not for us, and to take only what is ours. I don't know who needed the reminder, but I love you. Our ancestors want us to remember that they did stand up as much as they could, but they didn't always do the right thing. And we get into these phases and, we're not in those ancient times, and we may not understand it completely. We can study history and mythology and all of these things, and we can psychoanalyze and make our assumptions and make our assessments, but we were not there in the bodies that we are now, in the minds that we are now. Yes, our souls, many of our souls were, but we, as we are right now, we're not there. So the way that we look at it, the way that we look back at it is not always right. And we can think of the struggles that we have now. These struggles, am I going to walk through the streets naked and stand for something? Am I going to do that because I'm called to it, because it's what's right for me? Or am I going to shy away from that, shove it down, walk away because I'm too scared for this? Am I going to own my truth, my beauty, my freedom, my authenticity, and my knowingness? Am I going to say, this is what it is for me, and own that completely? Or am I going to shy it away and hide it away because it's scary, because somebody might turn against me? Guys, I may end up doing a lot of unpopular readings for certain people. I don't know. I've changed a lot. I've changed a lot. I don't know how much time I have, honestly. And words matter. Impact matters. Messages matter. And truth matters. Truth matters. So I'm here to speak my divine truth. And it may not be for other people, but am I going to let that hold me back anymore? No. No. This is not that time in my life anymore. What you choose is what your life becomes. What you put in your cauldron is the nature of the synergy and the healing that you do. This is why we do this. This is why we pour these things in. This is why we ride through the streets naked. This is why we know that we take a stand. This is why we dive into our shadows. This is why we do everything. It's why we connect. It's why we commit. Good morning, Jade. This is why. Because we are blending elements together. We are blending pieces together. We are blending truths and wisdom and knowledge and purpose and passion and spirit and life. We're blending the blood of our ancestors and the trappings of the modern world all into this cauldron of being, and we're creating our life from there. We're creating our healing from there, and it's 33:33 on the clock. We're blending it all together. Why? Because it's a ritualistic event. It is something that we do on a regular basis. So as this time unfolds, and this may be applied to Scorpio season right now, overall, the energy that we're feeling, this is that pressure I talked about during the Scorpio new moon. This pressure that I feel a bit more relieved from, but not a lot. It says, can you feel them, the wild creatures linked by the very blood you will spill into your craft? A ritual of dedication to self and those whose gazes hold fire, but whose whispers carry you softly through the unknown. Carry you softly through the unknown. The creatures, animals may be significant, but this is about the blood. What flows through our veins, we don't always understand. But we carry these wounds, these traumas, these karmas. We carry our choices. We carry the things that others project onto us if we choose to carry them. And sometimes we have to excise those things. And it can go in many ways. How it goes is up to each one of us. I can't emphasize enough that each one of us is unique. Each one of us is individuals. Individuation is a Carl Jung thing. Very brilliant man. Very brilliant man. I encourage anybody who feels called to study his stuff, and especially individuation, because that is understanding that you are part of a whole, but your uniqueness is crucial to the whole. So if you negate who you are in order for somebody else, you're not moving synergistically, symbiotically, nor in a healing way. You're ritualizing conformity. And it can be damaging. Our ancestors did that. If you take a look, and for those of you who practice a Christian faith, I mean this as no offense. This is historically speaking. If you take a look at the nature of the Christian faith, and especially in terms of Norse mythology, the ancient kings and queens forsook their gods. They had regular interactions with them. They were part of the pantheon, some of them, and they forsook their own deities, their own protectors, their own blood. They forsook years of working with them and faith. Why? Because the tip of a sword is a powerful bargaining tool. It's a new ritualistic thing. Fire and blood built a faith that subjugates, that lies, that limits, that destroys, that operates in fear. So how do we get out of it? The Wheel of Fortune, 10. The endings, the hanging bones, seeing the signs. How we get out of it is recognizing how our shadows call to us, the things that we feel within ourselves, whether they're right or wrong, based off of anybody else's perception, they don't matter. How we get out of it is we recognize that there are signs all around us, symbols, synchronicities. There are things around us that are speaking to us, but the ways in which they speak to us are not collective. They are individual. We have to develop this understanding of the universal language. That is why one of the many reasons I love the book, The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho. It is a book that encompasses the truth of the story of the author himself. Not the storyline, not the fictional narrative, but the energy, the feeling, the emotions. It is a book about how he feels about writing. He said it in an interview, and it changed my life when I read it. That interview, just like the book does. What we love, we play into every day of our lives. We love these things. So if you love a certain thing, you stand for it, you believe in it. But when you're afraid to allow yourself into those things, you hold yourself back. This Scorpio season is asking us to see the ways in which we've been really stubborn about the things that we love. Because we feel undeserving. Because we feel scared. Because we don't know that we'll fit in. Because we don't know that our voices matter, or our truths matter, or we matter. Whatever it is. There are signs and symbols and synchronicities all around. And just like the alchemist teaches us, learning the universal language teaches you all about life. And it brings you right back to your destiny. It will bring you right back to exactly where you're supposed to be, what this walk is for you, for each one of us. The universal language of signs and symbols and omens and synchronicities will show you. So follow the bones. This may literally be follow the way your bones feel. Follow how your feet want to walk, where your feet want to walk. Maybe some of you are called to throw bones, to study hoodoo or vow down. If we're called to these things, we're called to them for a reason. Race, gender, ethnicity, it doesn't matter. We place those limits and those labels. We place our emotionality and our perception on it. We limit everybody else because we want to feel special, but we don't allow ourselves to feel special because we don't allow ourselves to see that we are just inherently that way. So we want to make sure that nobody can do the things that we do and practice the things that we practice. And if we were to open these doors, and teach everybody, this is this faith and this is this faith, I think we'd see that most faiths operate pretty much the same. They have pretty much the same energies. It's pretty universal. It's universal language. And one is not better than the other. The saving of the soul does not involve money. It doesn't involve a pope. It doesn't involve a deity. It involves our willingness to interact with our own shadows and our own souls and to follow what is right from the heart, from the sun within ourselves. Scorpio season is going to challenge each and every one of us on a deep, impactful healing level. What is the destined work you're here to do? What is the destined way you're meant to love yourself? What is your calling here? What is Spirit saying to you? What is your soul saying to you? And what is life saying to you? Not what society says, not what your upbringing says, not what a book, not what a biscuit. I don't know, guys. None of that. What does your soul and your heart say to you? How does Spirit whisper? How do the signs reach you? How do you put it together and create this cauldron of healing and synergy in your life? How do you synergize with the universe, with your specific, unique purpose and path? This is individuated. This is your time. But you have to believe it. I can sit here and say it, but you have to believe it. And therefore, this is going to be the collective message right here. This is where it ends. Because it is for us all. But the application and the creation based off of perception made into perspective depends on each one of us. I know for me, I'm on my path. I know my path. I know the pitfalls. I know the downfalls. I know that I have no control. It's a beautiful thing for me right now because it means that I get to be held by Spirit, led by Spirit, and I can put my trust and faith in that and walk my path with truth and honor and integrity. And that is what I am doing. In a nutshell, there's a lot more, but it's personal. It's only my hope that if I'm called to share, that it's something that you need to hear. You get to choose. You get to choose. What do you choose? All right, I'm gonna pull this right back out. I put the pen somewhere. There we go. I keep getting bring it on, like I got the door tour. I don't know if it means that I just need to get in touch with my inner teenager and watch Bring It On or what. I have no idea. I haven't watched that movie in forever. So Elemental. If you guys are ready for it, the timestamps are in the description box. So I said earth, air, fire, water. All right, let's do this. Earth at 45. Oh, 8. All right, Earth element. Earth element. Earth angel. Earth angel. Will you be mine? My lover still. Only divine. I don't even know those are the right words, but that just came through. Earth angel. Earth angel. Earth angel. Will you be mine? Earth angel. Okay. So what are we working with? The 10 of Wands. The 10 of Wands. The evils of the weight of the world on our shoulders. This is the shadow of all the burdens and all the baggage and everything that we carry. This energy can turn us into pieces of ourselves that we don't realize we could even potentially be. I'm actually being asked to share something, and it's deeply intimate. So, okay, Spirit, as you wish. I'll do this Princess Bride style. I had a point in my life where being a mom was so much. It was so much. I was fighting with my daughters. There was tension and chaos in the house. My husband was working all hours because he's just an essential worker, and he was the boss, and I didn't work. My boys were fighting, and my kids had this perception that, well, mom does this with this one, and mom does this with this one, so mom loves this one in this way, mom loves this one. And I just felt so misunderstood, but I also felt unheard, disrespected. There was this pervasive feeling of, I'm a mom, but do they even care? What good am I? I felt like I just couldn't be a mom anymore. I felt like I was doing a terrible job. So I'd get angry. I'd get defeated. The weight of the world sitting on my shoulders. It's one of the worst feelings as a mother. When you feel like I can't be a mom. I'm not meant to be a mom. I'm a terrible mom. And we can do these things to ourselves. We can apply this in so many different ways. When the 10 of Wands hits, that's what we can apply it. Because the 10 of Wands is that weight of everything crushing down on us. It is pushing and pushing and pushing because we've taken too much on, because we're allowing the perceptions of others to impact us, because we're not walking in our divine truth. And so we take it on and we recognize it may be the end of this journey. It may be the end of this phase, but this is the part where we have to fight the hardest to keep going. And earth signs, this may be the part where you have to fight the hardest to keep going. Uranus is running a train wreck through Taurus. Uranus is literally sitting there trying to wake up our creators. Wake it up. Wake it up. Get going. Realize what you contain within you. Your blood has the power to create nourishment. Your very bones create the cosmic order in your life. Wake up and realize how powerful and potent and how much potential you have. Wake it up. And that is what Uranus is doing. Uranus is not trying to progress us into more modern technology. It's such, I'm sorry, I'm soapboxing here. That is such a skewed misperception. It's such a skewed, modernized, stereotypical misperception. These are ancient energies. These ancient energies don't give a shit about our technology. They might enjoy the fact that it helps us connect more, but our technology can go because it doesn't help us hear divine. It doesn't help us hear the planets. Uranus wants us to hear ourselves, and we can get stubbornly inured in this physical world and take on all of these burdens, all of these weights, all of these baggages. We have to have the new, we have to have this, we have to have that. Earth energy is being pummeled by that. And then you combine that with Pluto, who for the next 16 days, as of right now, is sitting at that 29th degree, that anaretic magic degree. Direct now, so it's pushing on the outside world. From our insides outside, it's pushing on the outside world and saying it's time to transform or die. This is what we do. This is what Pluto does. And Pluto is finishing up in Capricorn for the last time during any of our lifetimes for the next, 246 to 264 years-ish. Okay? It's a very long time. It's a long time for humanity. The last time Pluto did this, we had the American Revolution pushing on us to make a change, do it or die, a division of what was into what is. That is what Pluto initiated the last time. Yes, it was destructive. Yes, there was death, but that's what it was. And Pluto's in Capricorn, finishing up. This is transform or die time. This is shit or get off the pot time. Earth energy, the weight of the world is literally pushing down on Earth energy. It's not doing it to punish us. It's not doing it for any other reason than we have to stop bearing the burdens of the people who did things that we had no control over. We have to let them go. So it stops transforming us into these pieces of ourselves that we do not come here to be, or that we are not genuinely. Bearing the burdens of others is toxic. It is toxic. And we can choose to heed the calling of the stars. We can choose to heed the calling of the divine and to drop this. So this Scorpio season is asking you, where do you stand in your synergy and your healing? Where do you stand on what you carry and what you put down? How heavy is the weight on your shoulders right now? How heavy is this earth energy weighing on your shoulders? That's what needs to be addressed. Let's take a look further. Moon water reset right here. Reset. This is why. This is why. This is how you do it. The moon, the piece that we feel is missing, that essence of who we are, that light in the dark. It's a reset energy. We carry the weight, but we can reset it. The elders, 15, birthed from seed within the belly of the moon. The moon. They are the wise felt touches over our hearts and felt deep within the marrow of our spirit. This goes all the way deep into you, your blood, your bones, everything, just like the message said. This is so powerful. With moon water, the full moon in Taurus, you can make moon water as your ritual to reset your energy, to reset this burden, this weight. Because joy. I'm sorry, guys. Like, this is just amazing. This is joy. Rejoicing in the present. There's so much that you're carrying that you don't need to. You can reset this. Step into that energy of being the elder in your life and realize that you're here to be that. Because joy is here for you. This is so beautiful. Oh my God. Okay. If you are here for pile 1, for earth energy, if you anything like that, thank you guys so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you to your guides, my guides, the great spirit, to all of the ancestors, to the moon, the sun, the stars, the cosmic waves. Thank you to Pluto. Thank you to Uranus. Thank you for your messages, your wisdom, your understanding, and your awareness. Thank you. And thank you for all those at the collective of this reading. All right, I'm going to clear these off. Watch me. 1. Oh. 2. 3, 4. All right. We had Earth. Let's move on to air at 55:08. I'm amazed. That's incredible. All right. Air, air, air. Let's go. All right. Air. That explains it. We've got the Fool. And if some of you are coming from pile 1 from Earth energy, we have Uranus again, but this is a markedly different energy. This is Uranus unencumbered by anything else. Uranus in an air sign is a natural energy because Uranus rules Aquarius. And Pluto is about to move back into Aquarius. So this may be about Pluto and Uranus again. This is not surprising. This is the second time in a row. This is about you recognizing that the Fool's journey is always going to be there. When we get in our heads, though, do we really jump off the cliff? Or do we sit there and go, is this a trick? Is this divine timing? Is this the right thing? Is this where I'm going? You know the beauty of the number 0? When you see zeros repeating, is that zeros can be anything, and it can be nothing, and it can be everything. It's everything, nothing, anything. It's the energy of primordial essence. That's what Uranus is there to teach us. That's what the Fool is there to teach us. We all contain the energy of primordial essence. We all contain that spark of divinity. We all contain unconditional love in life. And we all contain the ability to choose our path and leap into it. So air signs, the Scorpio season is asking you to really get deep inside of yourself and say, what is it that I want to start? What do I want to do? How do I do it? You do it just by doing it. You leap off that ledge. You go. You go. We create our own time. And time in this life, you guys, time in this life can be really short. It can be really short. We don't realize it. A life can be taken by not looking the right way when you're crossing the street. A life can be taken because another life ended, and that was just a divine interaction. This summer, my daughter lost one of her best friends because a man had a heart attack while driving and hit the car that her friend was in. There's no wrongdoing on any part. It was a divine situation. It was a divine timing. So we don't always know how long this life is going to be. We don't always know. Sometimes we think we do, but no. I'm a firm believer in choice, though. Some of us get to choose. We choose to live, we choose to fight, we choose to stay. But when a new beginning is coming, we also can choose whether we take the new beginning or not. And when you've already done a Fool's journey, and I get that from a lot of you, that you've already done a Fool's journey, so this is Fool's 2.0. The prospect of leaping a second time or a third time or a fourth time is exhausting. It can be exhausting. It can be really exciting. You may be one of those eager puppies. It's like, oh, it's a new adventure. Let's do this. And I love you for that. I used to be that. And then I became exhausted. And so when my new adventure came in months ago, I had to sit with it for a bit. I sat with it. I researched it. I studied what it was that I was being called to. I wanted to make my Fool's leap consciously this time. That was the nature of this turn, is a conscious leap into the unknown. I knew I was leaping into a place I didn't know I was going, so I went. But I went knowing what may happen. I went knowing the ramifications of my choices. I went knowing. And that's okay with me. But when you get to that point, that exhaustion point, that I'm so tired, why do I have to do this again? Why do I have to start again? It didn't work out the last time. I couldn't see the vision, whatever. Man, that weight is heavy. It's heavy. And we have to figure out how to navigate through it, and that's okay. So let's figure out how you can do that, because I do feel that here. Yeah, we have mud and moss and stagnation. You have to evaluate whether you're where you need to be or whether you need to go. That's why it comes in. That's why we get that calling, because we've been sitting in it. We have been marinating in this stillness, but it has turned. If you leave water laying around, it'll be fine for a bit. Promise you it'll be fine for a bit, but over time that water stagnates. And if you've ever smelled stagnant water, gross. So are you going to sit in that water, that grossness, that ickiness that you feel around you, just or realize that because you're in the mud, you get to choose. 25 reduces to a 7. This is the chariot. You get to choose. And when you make that choice and you step into that chariot energy, the chariot only has success if you choose success. The chariot's energy is based off of choice. The tower energy is divine intervention. The chariot energy is human intervention, soul intervention, self-intervention. So we come in as the chariot and we make a change. We make a choice. So you can be in the mud and become the lotus, or you can be in the moss and the mud and stagnation and that gross, icky energy and just sit and say, why do I have to do this? Why do I have to do this? I sat in this energy for 6 months. And when it became stagnation, I came back. I came back here. Did it change anything of the progress of my fool's journey? Nah. No. Still not easy for me to leap. It wasn't easy for me to leap. It wasn't easy for me to get into. It's still something that I work through every day. Because it's a new journey, and every journey prior, I was so excited like an eager puppy, and I got knocked down and very, very tired. Where do we go from here? We have Frog, 17. May the lily beneath your breasts allow you to drink from its healing waters. Be still, for there is serenity behind the drowning croaks. We have the Star, 17, which is Aquarius energy, and 8, Leo energy, which is ruled by the sun. So now we come back to our strength. We move on. We have that choice. We stand in our strength. We have that hope. We have that cleansing. That's why we move out of the stagnation, so that the cleansing that has been done can give us our new beginning. The underworld, where all things pause and begin again. Ooh. The underworld journey is not one for the light of heart. It's not an easy one. It's one we choose. Consciously or subconsciously, we choose it. But it is not always easy. And that is okay. Air signs or air energy, whatever air you are here to understand within your life. This Scorpio season, as you address the collective energies, the pressure, the coming forth, the standing for yourself, the releasing of the burdens of others, all of these things, you are being asked to take a leap of faith. I don't know what your leap of faith will look like. I know what mine looks like. And so I'm going to tell you very candidly, mine is horrifying. It is terrifying. It is painful. It's destructive. It is one of the scariest things I've ever gone through. But I'm not going to rest in a state of stagnation when my life is meant for more. I'm not going to carry the things that are making me sick. When there are people who are here to learn from me, when there are things I'm meant to do in this world that matter beyond me, that matter to you, that matter to spirit, that matter to the ancestors, that matter to the journey of my soul and this life and why I am here. And so I chose it. And so sometimes we have to choose through the exhaustion to push through and to leap. and you can do it, and you're not alone. It may not be for the faint of heart, but you do not have a faint heart. You have a strong, beating one. Air signs, this is what I have for you. I love you guys. I hope this resonated wherever this falls in your chart, or if this is just a message that you chose. I want to take this time to say thank you, to your guides, to my guides, to the Great Spirit, to the ancestors, the cosmic energies and waves and teachers. Thank you. All right. We're going to just put these nice and away. And then I'm going to pull my handy dandy notebook out. Blues Clues. We are on Blues Clues. Interesting. We are going on to fire energy. Fire. 1:05:55. Splendid. 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 Do. Fire burns ever brighter. I don't usually sing. I don't know what the heck is going on, you guys. I'm not a huge person who loves to sing, but apparently today is a singing day. Singing is really greatly transformative for a lot of people. It really does help open your throat chakra up, but it also helps connect your throat chakra, your third eye chakra, and your heart chakra into one. Is a very divine thing that we get to do, because if you think about it, singing, music, vibration, flow, and energy is all very divine. I don't know if some of you want to be singers, or if some of you are singers, or if you just like to sing in the shower, dance in the kitchen. I love doing those things. Whatever it is, this fire energy here definitely is veering in the area of music. So let's take a look at your cards for this Scorpio season. The Seven of Cups. Resonance and vibration. That is what is coming through here. The Seven of Cups. Look, she's not even focusing on the cups. She's not focusing on the cups. What she's focusing on is the bats. The bats calling all around her. Bats, the things that we are afraid of. She's focusing on all of these little things up in the air, all of these things over here and over here. Bats work on resonance and frequency. The Seven of Cups is that proverbial maybe, maybe not energy. Is this the right choice, or is this the wrong choice? Is this going to be a good choice or a bad choice? And we'll never know, because that's the nature of it. It's a blind choice. Oh, I remember there were several years ago I had created a YouTube channel called the Chemist. It doesn't exist anymore. You guys can't find it. It literally doesn't exist anymore. I had to take it down. It got attacked. It was whatever. It is what it is. What is whatever. But I made a video that pissed people off. And it's so funny, because that message has been coming back to me now. And it's so strong. It's all coming back. It's all coming back to me now. Okay, well, see, music. So I've been moving back into that energy. Blind faith and trust. I can almost feel the collective sigh, the collective groan, are you fucking kidding me? No, I'm not. I'm not. Because it's one of the hardest things for us to do. As a human, it's one of the hardest things. We want to see it all. We want to know it all. And the more that our society progresses, the more that technology advances, the more that we have this access to all this information at the tip of our fingers. We're like, I don't ever have to do anything blindly. I don't ever have to do anything based on faith. I have facts, I have figures, I have contracts, I have this, I have that. And so we don't give in to that energy. We think I can see it all and whatever, but then the bats come in and they swing around and they spin around and they call and they echo and they say, ee, 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 and you're like, ah, and all the cups are sitting there. All your choices are sitting there. And you're focusing on this sound that you have occurring. That is the nature of all the things out in the world, distracting you from your faith and your belief. Because we don't like to go into things blindly. This blind faith, blind trust here. This 7 of Cups, blind faith and blind trust. It's asking you to look at the places in your life where you're not being authentic, where you're not being true, where you are letting this noise and this resonance and this sound come in and tell you this is the way it has to go. Where is your resonance? What if you were the bat instead of the witch on the card? Your resonance is in one of those cups. She's in the way. Do you believe in yourself and your echolocation, or do you believe in whatever it is she tells you you need to do? Go there, go there, go there. This is important. Some of you are the bats, and your resonance is being thrown off by somebody else, something else. And I don't normally get this message, and I don't normally give this message because I'm an individuated, focused reader. I focus on the person. But we have to acknowledge the fact that we are an interpersonal society. Humanity is, we are socially driven. You know, animals, people, this world is socially driven. We are driven for connection. And sometimes that connection can dictate what we believe, but it is up to us to know our own resonance. It is up to us to know our own frequency. It's up to us to know our own path. So someone can come in and say something, they can have that truth for themselves. That is their truth. It's fine. Let it be. Let it be their truth. But you're the one that determines whether it is yours. You choose whether it is yours because you have your ability to have your own pathway, your own resonance, your own truth, your own knowing, your own everything. That is the beauty and the benefit of the individuated path. Everyone else gets to have their own, but you also get yours. So whether this energy comes to you and tells you you're the bat, you're the witch, the cups stay the same. There's one cup for you right now. There may be more in the future, but there is one cup that is calling to you. That cup is what you need. You have moved beyond the past. Now it's time to grab that next cup because you're going to be walking away pretty soon from a lot of things because you move into the 8 and you move away from those things because your destiny is there. Sometimes knowing the end goal helps us get through. Let's understand more. The witching hour with favorable circumstances, 6. This is where you just came from. You came from this energy of knowing the truth at night. This comes back to that collective message that I wrote. I wrote it at the witching hour, literally at the witching hour, is when I channeled it. If you didn't watch it, I strongly encourage you to go back because it talks about all of this for you. The underworld, damn, this energy is strong. 40, hand over your known, a shift is near. Take a leap, your journey is clear. This is about you recognizing where you're going and what is right for you. Your journey. Your journey. Favorable circumstances to dive into the unknown, to follow your resonance, to go into your cup. Yes, there are cups that are filled with poison. Sometimes we have to take the poison, guys. Just point blank, I'm going to be real with you. Sometimes the poison is the path. It won't make sense. But sometimes you have to swallow the poison in order to be able to be cured from it. I don't understand it either, but I've seen it. Why? Because death must occur. The eternal cycle begins here. The eternal cycle of anything begins with death, and we can fear death. That path of poison that we are being called to is that favorable circumstance. It is everything that leads into bringing us into the underworld because it is time for our death. But death is not the end. There is no such thing. There is no ending. We call it energy. Energy is neither created nor destroyed. It, changes. Life becomes anew. Death is rebirth. Into the underworld, into the unknown, into that death cycle. We're being called. Fire signs are being called. Listen to your own frequency. If you're being called to the poison, go to the poison. If you're being called to the nectar, go to the nectar. If you're being called to the moon, to the sun, to the purpose, to the path, go to it. What is holding you back? Everything is favorable for these circumstances, for you to change, for you to make this choice, for you to have that stability, because death brings us into a rebirth energy. Fire signs, this is a hard one. This is a hard one. I'll admit it. I'm not alone. I know this energy. I know this path. In my own way, my own unique way, I know it. So you're not alone. But you are individuated, so it is yours. And I get that burden too. So I'm sending you a lot of love. All right, this is what I have for you, fire signs. I want to take this time to say thank you. I love you. Thank you to your guides, to my guides, to the Great Spirit, to the cosmic energies, to the flow of wisdom, to this life, this love, and to each one of you. I will see you guys on my next reading. Bye. All right, fire signs. We are moving on to water. Water is our completion. I'm going to write down the water sign timestamp, and then I'm going to pause it because I gotta run real quick. 1:16:44. Okay, pause. Be right back. All right, water signs. We're gonna put the notebook here. So water signs. I was hearing the song. I believe it's by Annie Lennox, "Walking on Broken Glass." And the funny thing is so I've been talking about my health issues. And one of the things that is occurring right now is one of my feet is incredibly dry and cracked. And we've tried everything. I've tried everything. We've looked into fungal infections. We've looked into bacterial infections. I've been trying to treat it and heal it for about 2 weeks now. And it's not getting any better. There are days where it weeps blood. There are days where I weep tears. And last night I was changing clothes and putting aloe socks on to try and help get, some extra moisture and softness and warmth in there. Just to kind of ease some of the pain. And I told my husband, he was watching me, walk around the room and get dressed. And I'm gasping and sobbing in pain. And he asked me if there was anything he could do. And I said, no. I said, it feels like it feels like I'm walking on broken glass. That's what it feels like. And sometimes it's just what we have to do. But that song came through. I don't know why. I don't know who needs to hear something like this. I don't know. I don't want pity. That's not my purpose here. Sometimes our life can feel like we're walking on broken glass. Sometimes it can feel like we are being destroyed, like we can't even move. And we don't know what we're supposed to do. But when we walk across a broken glass and we get to the other side and we allow for that healing to transpire, or that healing begins, it is life-changing and altering in many, many, many ways. And that is what I hold on to right now. If you guys see me scratching, I've had itchy skin for a while, so I apologize. It's just part of what's going on with my body. So bear with me, please. So water signs, let's take a look at the Scorpio season for you. Yeah, we've got the Empress. We have you in your power, your Venusian power, that fertility, that abundance, that creativity, that birthing of something new. Venus asks us to recognize what we value in this life. Pregnancy, for me, pregnancy in this life was one of the most challenging experiences ever. My first pregnancy, I barely ate. I gained only the weight of my daughter. people accused me because I was a teenage mom of trying to intentionally abort her, where there's nothing further from the truth. My body, she didn't like food. She didn't like the food that I wanted, or my body just couldn't handle it. Whatever it was, it was awful. It was terrible. It was one of the worst experiences of my life. It left me completely and utterly depleted. But she is a beautiful girl, a beautiful soul, and she has walked through hell, and I am so proud of who she has become. And so enduring that was exactly right. And it helped teach me a lot about the value of a human life, of being a mom, of being a daughter, of being in a family, of doing the right thing, and of doing the wrong thing. I made a lot of mistakes. I've made a lot of mistakes in my life. And that's the human way. God, we vilify ourselves all the time. We beat up on ourselves and we tell ourselves that we're these horrible people because we think that we need to be perfect. And fuck if we can be perfect. Sometimes the things that we endure are the hardest things. Sometimes it is like walking on broken glass. My next two kids, my daughter and my son that I kept, I gave up a child for adoption, but his pregnancy and birthing, that's a private thing for me. I don't share that. But my daughter and my son, Izzy and Cooper, which if you've been on my channel for a while, you guys know we've done readings together. Their pregnancies both almost killed me. It killed their twins. And they both almost died during them too. It was tenuous. It was tumultuous. It was touch and go. Cooper almost didn't make it. He was born sick. He was born septic. My heart stopped after pregnancy. After giving birth to him, I had a hemorrhage. I was given a drug I never should have been given. My body has not been the same since. It has been a mess since then. Almost 12 years have passed. Sometimes recognizing the value and the worth of something is also recognizing the shadow aspect of how hard it's going to be, how painful it is to walk across broken glass. And we just have to face that truth. Emotionally, mentally, physically, we have to face these truths. So let's find out how you can. Enter at your own risk. Pause. 11. It is in recognizing your worth and your value. So we've got Libran energy, Venus who rules Libra. It is saying, pause at the gateway of these risks, at this walking through, because you get the pause, you get that chance. When we want to do something and we know that this thing may be poison or this thing may be walking across broken glass, we can pause and say, am I going to do this? I'm going to walk into these shadows. Am I going to go into this darkened forest? And guys, I tell you, me personally, I'm going to be your cheerleader as you walk through it. Because if the forest is calling, the forest is going to continue to call. If the monsters are calling, the monsters are going to continue to call. It's not there to scare you. It's not there to punish you. It's not there to diminish you or deplete you or anything like that. It is there because you're standing in your worth and you're standing in your value and you're recognizing that there is something that you need to birth into this world. But in order to birth it into the world, you have to go into the places that are holding you back from doing that. You have to walk on the broken glass. You have to go barefoot into the forest without a light, and you have to enter at your own risk. So take the pause that you need to take, because that flow of energy is asking you to let yourself step into your abundance first. We have Black Cat with 7. There's a curious journey into the depths of the unknown, hidden so deep that only the brave will gracefully return with light in their eyes and shadows leading home. See? Pause, enter at your own risk, but know that this journey into the unknown that you're being called to, this walking on broken glass journey that you're being called to, it is divinely guided. The Black Cat used to be seen as bad luck. In reality, it is a blessing. One of my familiars is a Black Cat. Winifred, she's great. She's fat. She's great. She pukes all the time because she's super fat and she gets hairballs, even though I do hairball control formula. But she knows. I can literally hear her snoring right now. Oh, she's back here. You guys can't see her, but she's like back here. But she stays with me. She tells me when I need to rest. She crawls up and helps me heal. She purrs, and cats' purrs are so healing. They are an energetic frequency of healing. And so we get scared of these things that we think are evil, but they're not. When we are being called to the forest, we can think it's a bad thing, but it's not. It's a call for you to stand in your grace and your authenticity and your fertility and say, I know my worth and I know my value and I know my heart. And so I will follow that. That is what I will follow because I am birthing something new. What it is that is new is up to each one of you. It depends. Some of you may actually be giving birth soon. We have winter, the sacredness of pausing. You're going on this journey of pause. I can't deny that. Okay, water, this can be frustrating when you're on a pause journey. So when I was called to mine, I didn't get it because I was about to go into the phase of like my 10th house is coming up. And then all of a sudden, Spirit's like, nope, walk away. New things. Time to go. I'm going to do this. Winter as a pause space. It's a time to take a rest. It's a time to take a break. It's a time to gestate. And so it can feel like, how do I do this? Because what am I supposed to do? What you do is you just breathe. Breathe. Sometimes we can take a break. God, sometimes you can take a break. I took a really long break. It was so good. And now I come back and I'm much slower. Much more, this is when I can do it. So this is when I'm going to do it. No schedules. No asking. No begging and pleading. Like me. No. I'm just here to flow with the divine. And to commune with you guys. I'm still sort of in my own pause. My own winter. The winter is your time of revival, of renewal, of rest, of rejuvenation. You get to choose it. The sacredness of pausing. So you're called to this journey, this journey of the unknown, deep into healing, deep into the dark. And that is where the winter will take you. The winter is the darkest time. From Samhain on, it's the darkest point to the darkest point before the sun begins to be birthed anew until the God of light is rebirthed into this world. So water, this is asking you to pause before the light returns because you've done a lot and you deserve the rest. You deserve the rest. And when you are asked to rest in that, it can feel dangerous. But it depends on how you view it and how you create it. If you're being called to the forest, even if it's just to be like Rumpelstiltskin, to curl up and take a nap, the world will still be here. Your purpose will still be here. Your path will still be here. Love will still be here. Life will still be here. But if you keep going and you don't heed the call, will you still be here in your most authentic, strongest self? Or will every day be walking on broken glass? I cannot answer that, only you can. But I will be here to encourage you to just walk away if you need to. If you need the pause and the rest, go get it. Go get it, I understand. And I'll be here. My videos will be here. All right, water, and anyone else who stayed for the whole reading. If you stayed for the whole reading, guys, thanks. It's really sweet. It's a rarity, and I appreciate it. If you didn't stay for the whole reading, but you still stayed for part of it, thank you. I just really appreciate you guys. Thank you. All right, I want to take this time to say thank you for the water signs. Thank you to the guides, the ancestors, deities, the water, the sun, the moon, the stars, the cosmos, the divine creator. Thank you to anyone and everyone in spirit, here of the light, here of the shadow, here to help, here to guide, here to love and nurture, here for this reading and here for the collective. Thank you. Thank you. For all of you still here, I love you guys. I'm going to take off. I'm going to clean up. Maybe go and take a nap. Probably edit, upload, get this to you guys in the morning because it's how it goes. Thanks for sitting with me as we adjusted to this new time change here. I hope and pray that the Scorpio season brings you abundant love, blessings, wisdom, and grace. I love you all. Bye.